Welcome into Monday Night Live. This is the Q&A on RGR Football. He's Dan Harms. I'm Ryan Tracy. Hope you guys are doing well and recovered from your preseason game number 2, because number 3 is right around the corner and they hit the ground running today. We are going to answer all of your questions about this team, where it's going, who's going to be on it, and so forth tonight here live on RGR Football. Thanks for joining us. Make sure you like and sub and become part of the party around here, because we always have something going on. Tonight, you guys are going to throw the questions in. We're going to answer them, and that's the way that it goes. Every super chat gets an answer. Every topic gets a consultation. And the doctor is in, and the doctor's busy. Today, the news came as I cracked something here to enjoy myself. And the news came that whether it's a tinfoil hat or whether it just happened to be a strain that is so severe that somebody has to go to IR, what happened is that Felix Anudike-Uzomah, his season is over. Is it a surprise to you that they went this route in what I don't think was a very severe injury?
So he didn't treat it as not severe. Like, it was very obvious when it happened that he was not feeling good. I don't know if we don't have like a grade on the strain, right? Like, we didn't get a grade on what it actually is. So it could be far worse than just your everyday strain, because we all know that when somebody strains something, it's like a couple of weeks and then you're back out there. So I would imagine it might be a little bit worse than they're leading on. But also, why did nobody, why was the grade not released if that's the case? Why wouldn't you tell us the severity of it? So it's a little confusing as to why they do this, but the Chiefs are very much on the NHL spectrum of injuries. We don't want to give you any information. And the NHL does that too. When they have let's say they have a thigh injury, it's designated lower body. That's all you get. That's all you get. And that's the utmost of the information you're going to find from the Kansas City Chiefs too. Oh, fine. He's got a strain, but he's done for the season. Okay. Well, guess what, guys? This pretty much effectively ends his career in Kansas City, in my opinion. This was I tweeted out earlier today, this was essentially a contract year for Felix, because he has to get that 50-year contract option designated by the Chiefs after this year is over. And guess what? They have no information to go on now, and they're not going to extend him. They're not going to pick up that 50-year option, which means there's a very good chance that he could get cut next year, or he could just play it out and be done. So by any stretch, we could see him just not be in Kansas City anymore after next year. But overall, it sucks because, again, you guys know how I feel about the upside there. It didn't work out. I'm not putting all the blame there. I think that the system asking him to put on weight, asking him to be a little bit different of a player, took away his explosiveness as a pass rusher. In doing so, you see some of that. But it's a weird situation, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's too bad. And I know there's a lot of K-State fans out there. We were a fan. We just didn't have him getting into that situation as a first-round pick and having that pressure on him. I think he got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, to tell you the truth, because the expectations did not live up to what we saw on film coming in. And that's unfortunately what happens at times. In fact, I'm probably going to run it down for this franchise when that delineation is. But I think that he'll be able to get a fresh start, and I think that'll help him. I don't think it'll be in Kansas City either. There'll be no 5th-year option here, even though he's a first-rounder. I feel for him because you're supposed to be building up to this point, and he certainly is not going to get that opportunity. It's too bad.
Yep.
I want to see what the release designation comes, or what happens in the spring when IR actually falls off, and we'll see. Is there a possibility that something else happens? We'll find out. But for now, Felix goes on to the IR list, and we're just going to have to move on without him, which unfortunately makes the Chiefs a little bit thinner at the position. He wasn't, I don't think either of us projected him to make a huge contribution, but he was somebody that we could see getting to that point. Now, we don't see that. They're 4 deep at edge, and that's all they got. And that's a bottom line. And that's unfortunately a problem in my eyes. Thundarius, thank you. Appreciate it. And I won't fine you. And I appreciate that you made it here. So if you would hit the thumbs up, nobody gets fined. We very much appreciate it. FLDB, I tried to get back to you. Didn't finish my thought, so I'm still in process there, but it was a long weekend for me, and too many fantasy things went wrong, and I ended up over partaking. So you're gonna have to give me a little bit of grace, but I will get back to you shortly, pal. Again, this is, I think, something that it should be a concern. Maybe the number one question that I've had in the last 48 hours is, should they trade for Trey Hendricks? And I mean, in a perfect world where he's not, under contract with the actual Cincinnati Bungles, like maybe that's an option, but they're not going to give him to you for anything less than a railroad. So no, I don't think it's even worth really exploring. Do you?
He's not even the style of player that they want, guys. I'm sorry to disappoint you. He is a pass rusher in the direct sense of the word. He's out there for rundowns because he has to be. If it were up to the Bengals, he would be a pass rush specialist, I guarantee you. And that's what he would be in Kansas City, but Spags would make him play off-ball linebacker. So what's the point? It's the facts. Like, let's be honest. He's not the style of player they want. We have talked about this. Yeah. They took Felix, who was a speed rusher winner off the edge, and they forced him to be something that he wasn't. Okay. So they want something very specific, and it's not Trey Hendrickson. When you see that, I've just gotten so many. Should they trade for Trey? Should they pick up no. You'd have to give up multiple, like a first round pick plus more, and then the Bengals would have to see, okay, well, we want to win a Super Bowl this year. Does trading Trey Hendrickson to the Chiefs, who we hate, make a lot of sense for this team? No, it doesn't.
Probably not going to happen. And I wanted to say hi to John, and sorry for the confusion. I think Chris might have scheduled that live stream to go a little bit overlapping, so my apologies. Sometimes when you got so many irons in the fire, it is difficult. We'll see. I'm going to double check that if I can, and if I can adjust it, I definitely will. So stand by for that. But John, thanks for pointing it out, and I appreciate that, because when you work in pairs, sometimes you don't always sync on what's going on after the show is recorded. Whereas Dan and I are live, so we just look at each other and go, "Hey, let's fix that."
Yeah, so, that's what we do.
Yeah. So that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to start taking your questions. Get your topics in there. Every super chat gets an answer. We're going to help you tonight understand what we understand, and then we'll all be surprised when something crazy happens. Mark had one here. Demarius Smith, the edge, is available. Also, Sheriff, I believe Sheriff retired is what it was. The left guard is available, and a former Pro Bowler. He was reliable and healthy for 2 years for the Jags. They signed Simmons to shore up the safety position. There is not enough money to get two of those things done, let alone all three. Simmons won't be a Chief. He will not want to. They don't want him. It is mutually assured destruction. It's not going to happen. That's just the feeling and everything that we've heard from all the agencies and everything else. Scherf, I believe, has officially retired. I could be wrong, but I thought so. But along that line, there's another player that I do like. Smith, I'm not so sure he's got a fit enough here. I would have a look and have him in and see what you think, but I don't think he's a fit. Do you know who I'm talking about on the other side?
I don't. Go ahead and enlighten me.
And I hate to put it this way, but when you randomly run into someone and you decide to make a social media post and it kind of blows up, Dalton Reisner's out there, a guy who's played for a number of teams, has played well at times, has played pretty poorly at times. Let's be real, Dalton, no offense. But he's out there. Experience, power-based game, way more so than the outside zone, in my opinion. But he could be a body that could come in and short up as a backup in case of emergency, in case Kingsley has some kind of breakdown. If it were a low-end veteran contract, I could certainly see it, but I'm not burning down the barn to get it.
Yeah, he's also visiting with the Bengals tomorrow, so that would be have to be something you get done. He would have to not sign there as well to be able to do that. So I'm on the little opposite side with the Zadarius Smith. I think that's who you're actually talking about, Mark, with the defensive end. I think he's more of a fit because that's just, again, run defense. He kind of reminds me of Frank Clark in the sense that that's what you're going to get, I think, from what if you were to bring him in. I understand we want to get a lot done here, but we have to remember that the Chiefs have not played a game yet with their starters, not even a real game that matters. Excuse me. So I know everyone wants to try to fix the team before they've even played a game, but we have to remember to do that. And just real quickly here, just to Scott's point, Yes, you're right about that. But the Bengals would ask the Chiefs for a first-round pick. No, I did this.
Oh, okay. I was like, I clicked the wrong one. Sorry.
No, I was
you
just
said
trying
Frank
to show...
and he already had it in there. I was excited. Sorry.
Oh, yeah? Look at that.
Yeah, somebody already had a comment on Frank Clark in there.
There we go, babies. And I saw that. You're right. I did see that. And let's pull it back up real quick so we can just get that out of the way. Where we go? Here we go, Alex. No. I'm not trying to be mean, but there's zero chance that Frank Clark's come back to play football. There's zero chance. I would, if we were like 3 or 4 years ago, I would do it just because he's a big glue guy and the Chiefs clearly loved him. But no, no, absolutely not.
I'm with you. Would you trade for Henderson? We talked about that. I would take a first and a second. The Bengals are in pinch, so I would think they would trade with us. I don't care what kind of pinch they're in. I don't think they want to give us anything. They still feel like they're a better team, and they're not going to give an inch to the Chiefs.
He's under contract. They're not in a pinch at all. They don't have to do anything. He doesn't want to play. He doesn't want to play. But he's under contract with the Bengals.
He doesn't have a choice about it other than to sit, period. And at his age, I don't know. Maybe he's fed up. I don't know. I have no clue into his insight, but we'll find out. Micah, how you doing, buddy? On PFT today, they had a segment in which they were to give one major concern for KC, Buffalo, Baltimore, and Houston for the Chiefs. Sims said it was DL. Florio made the dynasty maybe done. Of course, he said that. I'll give Sims credit. I don't agree with him. I probably agree with him less than half the time, but the D-line now is a bit of a concern. With this move with Felix, I feel like they have to keep Marlon. And Marlon didn't play great, but the next man up overall that can help you have an impact, I feel like it's got to be Marlon at this point. I do feel outside of Hendricks, that's a whole different thing. But at cutdown, they have to go find some more talent. They might have to go trade for an actual edge rusher because Mike Danna's going to start. And as you have said over and over, Dan, Mike Danna is a solid, every down, going to give you his effort player. He is not a superstar. He is not an ascending superstar. He's not going to get there, and he's not going to change a pass rush or a pass protection scheme on his own. So I think either Charles Omenihu and Ashton Gillotte or the combination thereof have to step up their game and become that force, or they got to think about making a trade.
They are putting a lot of eggs in that basket. Because again, we talked about Charles on Saturday. I don't think he looks great. I don't think he looks great. So you're putting eggs in that basket, and Gilotte's going to make a lot of effort plays. He is. I'm going to be reviewing his film from the preseason game and talking about that on Wednesday. But what I have seen is that you have a guy who can get off every now and then, can give you some push. He cannot yet disengage. Year one, okay? Yet. That's why I said yet. So you have to bring somebody in. Somebody has to get brought in. The Saints traded away Colin Saunders yesterday or this morning, whatnot. And I got a lot of pushback saying that the Chiefs, or that they should, because I said they should have been in on this. By the way, that's by no way is that saying that they weren't. I think the first people think, well, why would you think that they weren't? I never said that. I just think that they should be, regardless of anything. I also got a lot of people saying, well, he was just a former Chief. That's the only reason you want him there. Go look at the depth chart, guys. Go look at the depth chart. There's not one defensive tackle that can stop the run. There's not one. There isn't one. And I don't care what you like or don't like about Colin Saunders. Guess what he started to do since he got to Kansas City? He was a run stuffer. So we have to stop this only because he was a Chief. No, we have to look at this in a critical situation and through a critical lens and say, what is he able to do now? Stop the run. I don't care that he can't rush the passer. Guess what? You can put in your younger players. You can put in Jerry Tillery in those pass rush situations. You have to mix together. Fine. But we have to stop this idea that only because they're former Chiefs, we want them back here. They fit a need. He specifically fits a need that they have.
Yeah, exactly. What can you do to shore up one of our weaknesses now? What can you do to make us better in your current version, in our current version? Is it a round peg and a round hole that makes our front stronger? That's the whole goal. Mike, I had a couple here. We'll just hit them right out of the park here. Why is Hicks regressing? And I don't think that it's necessarily regression. It's not. It's a lack of progression is what I'm seeing. I don't think he's gotten worse. He just hasn't taken a huge step forward. And again, it's because he didn't play till later than we expected last year. And because he's an instinctual player, he's not meant to be a too high guy. And that's what they're running all preseason. They've shown a couple of single high looks, in which case he could be the down safety, and that will change his whole thing. They might just be too vanilla so far.
Yeah, I think they're trying him in different spots too. Because right now, especially with the injury to Mike Edwards and the lack of real talent at safety, they have to figure they're going to have to cobble some things together on the back end. So if they're trying to see what he can do, what he's capable of, how far behind is he from maybe being able to play more too high or single high in some of those situations, at the end of the day, I don't think that's going to be where he ends up. I think we're going to see him at his best spots where he was last year and where Justin Reed has been throughout his career in Kansas City. So I would wait to make any real assertions about what he's done or what he's going to do until we see more of a regular season fit and role for him.
I'm with you. Mike, I thoughts on the NFL reportedly wanting 10+ game suspension. Let's be real. There's a lot of people spitting this take out, or these particular words. The NFL wanting 10 games. The NFL doesn't want 10 games. Roger Goodell does. That's what it is. The NFL is not a conspiracy. It's one guy. In the end, he makes the decisions. The appeal process, everything goes back to one guy. He wants to make a point. And I think a lot of the talking heads or the people who don't have any insights keep repeating this thing like the NFL. It's not a committee. It is one guy driving this. And that's why there's all this back and forth about a negotiated outcome. In the end, Roger Goodell will get to decide this. It'll go to arbitration. And if it gets spit back out, he's going to make the decision again. That's just the way the CBA is written. There's not a whole lot you can do to avoid it.
And that's why they want the arbitrator. Like realistically, if they do want that, and the Chiefs, Rashee Rice and his team say, well, I mean, Jordan Addison got 4 games. Why are we 6 games more for this again, which DUIs going 150 plus miles an hour is, I would say, again, a step worse in that direction. And he got 4 games. So they have precedent to say, well, why is this happening here? If that's what you want, we physically can't actually make that happen because it's not a fair structure. There's no real precedent set for a 10+ game suspension with Rashee Rice's thing. So we have to see what's going to happen. They still can come to a decision before the arbitration in September, which has been mentioned multiple times. But if it is going to go that far, it's because somebody is Roger Goodell trying to make a point when he realistically can't based off of the evidence.
And that's the thing, is it's just an outlier. So Micah, this is not to single you out or any of the people that are repeating this. This is part of the phraseology that has come out around this issue from press releases, from the sources, from the lawyers, etc. But it's not the truth. And that's the difference. And that's where you got to read between the lines, as often you do in this league, to see what's really going on. Thank you, though, and we appreciate you, bud. FAU has been put on the season-ending IR. Do you expect the Chiefs to make any moves? We kind of addressed this, but like right now today, they just went and got a guy in Owen that can come in and give him some reps in this last game. Like, that's the immediate thing. They've done what they need to do, so they had enough bodies at the position. Outside of that, I don't expect anything else dramatic until probably the day or two before cutdown. Then, if they're trying to make a trade, I would do it before cuts. Most of the teams who are trying to offload a pass rusher, even an older one, want to do it before cuts. So I think maybe 48 hours out. Do you have a feel for it?
Not really. And I think that, again, because the Chiefs have eggs in the Gillotte and Omenihu basket, I don't think we're going to see a huge move because realistically, Malik Herring has experience. They seem to feel comfortable with him in that backup to backup role where he can come in and give you some reps on a individual basis every now and then. But they do need some back end talent because overall, what we're seeing is that the Chiefs are relying on guys that don't win quickly. So guess what that happens? If you get tired, are you going to be able to block shed when you're tired? No, you're not going to be able to. So if you're running Chris Jones out there, and if you get Omar Norman-Lott to be more explosive, even though they've asked him to put on weight, and you get Jerry Tillery to give you something from the interior, and your pass rush is getting tired, specifically, quarterbacks will be able to get outside the pocket. They'll be able to do that. So they're going to have to find ways to get a little bit more creative with guys that are more that they don't win based off the quickness. It's more of the effort. So I'm not a huge fan of the way that that's being put together myself, but this is what Steve Spagnuolo wants. He wants to be able to blitz. He wants to be able to hold up blocks. He wants to be able to get Chris Jones isolated one-on-one whenever he wants to and have guys that can reduce inside. And unfortunately, small guys can't do that. So this is what we have. This is what we see.
Yeah, that's the tough part. FLDB, thank you. I'm a little bit late cleaning up the chat, and I did put it in a slowdown mode. I had to go to a different screen to do it. You can't do it from within StreamYard. So bear with me just a minute, and we continue to kick out these bots. So sorry for the interruptions, everybody in the chat. And if you are one of our members trying to get your comments in there and all this crap is in the way, very much apologize, and we'll try to stay on it here as we cut through the rest of your questions. Let's see, Lee. Will Veach make a trade to get someone in to improve the pass rush, the RB room, the safety, guard, CBs, anything? Yes, the Bears, Colts, and Titans are probably the most likely culprits, but honestly, they haven't pulled that many deals with them. So yeah. I can't guarantee that they're going to do anything. I think Borgonzi is probably the most likely because he's probably the guy in his role that is the least comfortable right now. It's his first season. He's trying to put something together. A lot of variables for him. So maybe Lee, that's probably what I would expect, but you never really know. As far as the RB room, Dan, if we had to go to war tomorrow with a regular season game, to me, it's Isaiah Pacheco starting. It's Carson getting secondary or short yardage reps. And maybe Brashard Smith, you throw a Hail Mary and give him the ball, but like Kareem's hurt. Elijah hasn't shown you anything. Mitchell, that is. Elijah Young got cut today. Like they don't have a running back room.
This is the problem. We talked about this. And I'm a big Brashard Smith fan, but it's obvious that he's not quite ready to be what the Chiefs need him to be as a full every down back. And that's fine. He wasn't one last year. Like let's be real about this. He was very much a wide receiver that was playing running back. Again, he had good feel, but there's more you have to learn. So they didn't address it, and they've put themselves in this position. So the Isaiah Pacheco basket, the Chiefs love to do this, guys. I don't know what it is, but they have their guys, and they put their eggs in that basket, and they won't really pull them out until it's too late in that regard. In my opinion, it's been too late for the running back room. I like Isaiah, but he's been injured every single year, and he's just not a guy you should be building a run game around, in my opinion. He should be a juice guy. He gives you that juice, that energy, which is great. But he's not an every down back, and the Chiefs don't have one. I'm not saying they need one, but they also don't have a 1-2 punch. They have a 1-2-3, maybe 4 punch, which in today's NFL you can't really do. You need to have a 1-2 and then maybe a change of pace, because in order to really wear defenses down, which I think this offensive line can help you do, you have to keep them on their toes. And if you're just running the same type of player out there all the time, they know what to expect. They don't have to worry about an explosive run from a real cutback where he's got the feel and he doesn't have to worry about developing everything. So they're in a tough position right now.
Yeah, they certainly are. Minotaur, thank you. Everybody say thank you. If you got a free membership, let us know in the chat. Say thank you. And Minotaur, he's going to be the guy that hands them out. He's always doing something to help around here and growing Rogue Nation, which is what we call our Discord group and our member group that is only here on this channel. You can't get it anywhere else. So thank you, Minotaur. Our ambassador of Quan, I think I'm going to go with today. That's my term of the day. I appreciate you. Lee, I didn't mean to cut off your question too early either, but thank you for that one. Very much appreciated. Steve, if we got into trade talks about Robinson, that's Brian Robinson, not Brandon. He's another guy. Would he fit into the salary cap? And what would the trade compensation be to get him? How would it upgrade the RB room? You probably did more film on him early than I did. So I'd just love to know what you think of the fit, either pre-draft or now.
So he's a good footwork vision back. He's not an explosive guy. He's going to run you go over. I think he's closer to what Kareem Hunt would be in this offense maybe 3 or 4 years ago. Kareem is a better pass catcher, and he runs with a little bit lower center of gravity. Breaking tackles is still there. Again, he's a good footwork He's a good footwork back, but we need more guys.
Juice.
You're adding the same guys to the running back room. It's tough. It is really tough to consistently have the same exact players go out there. And if you don't believe that Elijah Mitchell can give you anything, we're talking about Brian Robinson coming in and him just being a 5, 6, 7 yard hitter, and he's not going to give you any of those big ones, which is again what the Chiefs do need.
Yeah, I agree with you. As far as cap goes, like if you just want another guy to be the same thing or a slightly different version of the same thing for redundancy's sake, which I could see making the argument. I think you could get him for a late round pick, 6th or 7th. Like he's not going to demand much. I pulled up his contract while we were talking here. He's 3.4 against the cap this year, but this is his last year. You are trading for an unknown quantity. So unless you're ready to extend him as well,
yeah,
you're not giving up that draft capital or those picks. So
and
that makes a lot of sense
now,
right?
Or Elijah Mitchell, and you're cutting one of those two now.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that is a possibility with Elijah Mitchell. No offense, I don't think he's shown him enough. But we also have to understand that they have been ready to give away late day 3 picks. So, like in terms of the compensation, I'm not worried about that or the salary. It's just what does he bring that you don't already have? And that's to Dan's point. Like you need somebody who has that 5th gear. And right now we have a bunch of 4-gear guys.
I will say he'd stay healthy.
Fair.
For the most part, he's going to give you the entirety of the season, especially in a quote unquote committee backfield, if that's how they go. So I would understand if they did it because again, they've got a bunch of guys right now that have just been injury prone. So I would understand it.
That's a very good point. And I like that. Like, it's an old military term. 2 is 1, 1 is none. And that's exactly the situation they find themselves in over and over and over and over.
Yep.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Swag. What 3 games are you most excited to see Casey play? Mine is the Commanders, Eagles, and Ravens. What about you both? Go ahead, Dan.
So honestly, I do think that every time I watch the Chiefs and the Bills, it doesn't matter what it is. It's always a fun game to watch, no matter what. Any game later in the season is pretty much one to be excited for. I don't really care too much who they play early on. The Commanders is a great one, Swag Boy. That will be just a fantastic idea of what they could possibly face. Again, because Lamar Jackson, they'll play the Ravens at some point this season, possibly again in the postseason. But getting that kind of quarterback 2 times a year is huge. It's a huge boon for their postseason aspirations because as much as we know they can handle a Lamar Jackson at times and they kind of force him to be a quarterback, it just takes 1 or 2 runs, man. It just takes 1 or 2 lanes, and it can drastically change that. So I think getting 2 of those quarterbacks this year in Lamar as well as Jaden, it's going to help their defense a bit more for the postseason run. So I always love seeing what they do against the Bills as well. It's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, Bills is always one of my most fun games. And I actually want Commanders would be my second. I don't want to discount the Eagles, but I'm just less impressed with that. I just feel like the revenge story isn't a revenge story for me because you stepped on your own foot, to put it nicely. I don't feel that the Eagles were that dominant. You know what I mean? Like you showed up with in your hand, and that's the problem.
You guys remember how we talked about right after the Super Bowl that they didn't game plan? In the new documentary, Patrick Mahomes mentions that they had too much going on. And then when they got back to the basics, which we've talked about like 7,000 times about making it simplistic and just doing what's throwing the football down the field, it was too late. And why did it work? Because it could have worked all damn game. It could have worked all damn game, but they got too cute with it. They got way too cute. They added too much stuff. Be simplistic sometimes. In your first 15, it should be the simplest stuff in your playbook. So you can see if you need to get creative later because it's not working, fine. But if you have to resort to simple after that, it's always going to be too late, guys. So that frustrated me a little bit. I'm going to keep watching it, obviously, because I love listening to thoughts and getting more inside information about that. But I'm just getting kind of piggybacking on Ryan's point. I'm not excited to watch the Eagles game. One, because I don't care what they look like in the regular season against Philly. I have no care in the world what that looks like.
It's just not a factor yet. Let us see how they survive the season. I'm confident no matter what the Chiefs' blemishes are, they will survive the season.
Yeah.
And they will be in the top 3 seeds. They will play the postseason. Like, I'm concerned about things like beating Denver twice and beating the Bills because yes, it's a lot of people always tell me, oh, the Bills is a giveaway because we always lose in the regular season. We always win. Okay. I don't care. I still want the first round bye. Like, it doesn't matter to me that you can feel more confident playing the Bills in the playoffs. I still want to beat them in the regular season so we don't have to play an extra game. That's still the shortest path to a championship, and that's what I'm here for. So that's always going to be on my list. Minotaur, thank you for the support yet again, directly for us, not just to the other fans. Very much appreciate you. Is it possible to put Rashid preemptively on a commissioner's exempt list and go ahead and knock out some of the suspended games? It is not. No one can do that but the commissioner himself. And if he wanted to do that, he would have done that. And I believe when you go exempt, that does not count against your suspension games anyway. So he could put him on that list. He could bring him back and still give him 8 games. So it doesn't help us any.
We have a problem, guys. Sorry, this is my fault. I was trying to get rid of one of these bots, and apparently it didn't select the bot, and it selected one of our buddies, Brent. So we need to get him back.
Crap. Sorry, Brent.
I'm so sorry, Brent. Again, this is the problem with bots, and I'm doing all right. Thank you, FLDB. I appreciate that. I'm trying. I apologize, Brent. Please don't run away. It was an accident. I'll take my punishment later for that.
Frankie, you the man. And this is why we rely on the mods, because when we're trying to stream and do the show, it is next to impossible for us to pick up with the stream as it's going. Because for us, we don't see it as cleanly as you guys do. It is a different presentation for us, and we appreciate you and thank you for the help.
I'll leave it off. I won't do it anymore. My fingers are away from the ban button.
Okay, rock and roll. Brett's good with it too. So Brett, thank you. Very much appreciate you. And the patience, because sometimes we just need it. So unfortunately, Minotaur, the exempt list would not help. Honestly, it would be more of just like a direct punishment at this point than anything.
Yeah.
Not that I'm putting it past anyone, but I'm just saying that's the way it would work out. It would still carry an extended penalty on a suspension as well. Now, if he gets pushed into a wall and the arbitrator comes back and is like, hey, the most you can give him is 4, you're going to have to knock it down to 2, he might go do it anyway. You don't know. So what I'm understanding is this is not a conspiracy. This is one person who happens to run this league trying to make a point. And I feel it's over the top, and everyone feels that it's over the top. And people like Flory who are reporting that the league is trying to do something are misleading you. And that's the truth. So
yep,
I will leave it at that. Swag. I'm worried Kingsley will get Mahomes killed. I don't think that's going to happen. How confident are you with Kingsley 1 to 10? I am in his corner, and I still believe in the kid. I just need him to light a little bit more fire. I'm at a 6 right now. How are you?
I'm at a 7. And again, I'm always going to be a little more optimistic with it because I think that the talent eventually will overcome some of this. And once he gets more live game reps, I cannot stress to you guys how important these live game reps are. He didn't get a ton last year. He only got 1 game at guard. Now he's next to a different player. You're learning a different everything. He's already a legitimately good run blocker. Like, I've got no worries about that. He just has to get comfortable. And in doing so, he's going to need more live game reps. So why am I frustrated with how he's only had 22 snaps over 2 games? Barely played very much in the preseason. It's tough to get live game reps when you're not getting them. So he's got to go out there and play. I am still of the opinion he needs to play all year long. We can't keep doing this with talented prospects where we see them, you get a game 2, 3 here, but we're going to pull you because you make a mistake here. You have to let them learn. If they don't, you're never going to develop players. You can never develop anybody that way. And since the Chiefs are always picking at the end of the first round and in the end of the second round, you're going to have to literally trade up multiple times every single year to get players that are floor players. You have to develop them. And in doing so, those live game reps are the most important thing. So everyone, he's going to give up some sacks this year. Get used to it, but you have to see some kind of correlation to, okay, when it slows down, when my feet are better, I can do this. And the talent's all there. So he's just got to get comfortable. And when he does, I think we're going to see this turn into a better situation.
I'll tell you the other part that I liked. I don't know how to put this in a soft way. So you guys tell me what you think in the chat right now. What do you think of Josh Simmons' attitude when he talks to people? Because I'm interested to know what you all think. Because to me, he looks like he's ready to rip the hearts out of the beat writers for asking him questions. Like he's freaking pissed all the time. And I love it because I want my offensive lineman to be like that. Kingsley's not. Kingsley's here and he's mostly like, hey, I just got an ice cream cone, sat down for recess. Like, I'm happy to go. Like the blending of these two, like Josh is going to rub off on him. He's going to rub off on Josh and they're going to become a duo. But like, I like that Josh Simmons is bringing some edge to that partnership.
Yeah. Like and he even said the same thing today, basically. It's like, we need reps. He needs reps. I need reps. Like, I can't stress to you guys the difference getting real reps matters for a guy like Kingsley, who played at BYU and was raw prospects coming out. I do like to project with guys like that. One, because if you do it right, they develop into stars. At the very least, guys that will start for you for 10, 11 years. But you have to go about it the right way. You have to let them develop. And if you don't, you are effectively setting fire to a draft pick every time you do it.
And that's the problem. And it's been too much, too lenient, too often. You got to pull that together. And that's also why you look for leaders in every room on the team. You need leaders within it to make sure that those investments continue to pay off. So not terribly worried. I'm terribly slow, though, and I apologize, guys. We're 37 minutes in, and I'm still behind. No question, but wanted to say thank you for all the work with you and hope that the move was successful. Thank you, Swag.
I appreciate it.
Almost successful, right?
Almost isn't there yet. We were supposed to sign last week and move in all of our stuff Monday. It was supposed to be on Monday. We don't sign now till Wednesday, and our stuff doesn't get here till next Tuesday. So we are in trouble right now. I'm just frustrated a little bit.
I don't blame you a bit. I'd be pissed. Again, folks, every super chat gets an answer. If you're asking a question that's already been answered, and I'm sorry if you came in late, but if we've already addressed it, we have a ton of questions tonight, so we're not going to rehash. So if you asked a question and you didn't get an answer, it's likely at the beginning of the show, especially for those who might just join the last 10 minutes or something like that. So just wanted to set that up so nobody feels left out. Jonathan, is there a Christian Wilkins update? Not that I have heard. One of the weirder NFL situations I can remember. Very good. Not necessarily Chiefs related, but a question. But here's the thing, and I told you when he was a free agent, he is nearly the perfect complement to Chris Jones. And I don't know what went wrong, but when you play for the Raiders, it could be absolutely anything. Okay, so what do I know? But unless something is seriously wrong, I think it's just the injury. And whatever his attitude was in the building, they didn't dig it. They weren't going to deal with it anymore. Okay, fine. If his foot actually heals, and from what I understand, it's a midfoot fracture with a couple of ligament issues as well. If that actually heals and he can play, then I think he's absolutely worth coming in, giving a prove-it deal. And honestly, you might get the steal of the offseason, or in this case, the mid-season, if that were to happen. Would you be against it?
No, I don't think so. And again, we have to let the process play out. That's one thing that we have to do with everything, especially in today's day and age where we're always getting the backlash first. Everyone sees this come out, and then everyone gets rage baited into making opinions. I do it too. I'm not going to lie. We all do it. We see things, but we have to remember that with each situation, a story is different than 99% of what you're hearing in a tweet. So we have to let that process play out, and whatever happens, happens. And since we haven't heard anything at all, it's a wait and see approach. But yes, I'd be totally up for that, specifically with what we've seen.
Okay, cool. Then I'm not crazy. Because, I'll play a favorite here or there, but, like Carson. But I'm not out here just for absolutely shits and giggles. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm actually trying here. Did I not read Perry? Sorry, Perry.
You did not.
Am I crazy for thinking FAU injury could be a thing for the Chiefs to, by making Veach have to make a move and not just keep a guy because he's on a contract? Possibly. Like, this should stoke a little bit of fire. Because I don't think you're going to survive with Charles Omenihu in particular. I don't think you're going to survive and have him 20 games. You need a heavier rotation than just 2 starters and 2 guys that circle in, especially because there's going to be downs, pass rush downs in particular, where you want Mike Dana inside or you want Charles inside. And that's going to be the problem. So again, I do think an acquisition on the D-line is in the future.
Me too.
When are the final roster cut downs? That's on the 26th. How does Rashee Rice's suspension affect the Chiefs keeping 6 or 7? Right now, that's the big thing. If he is not suspended prior to week 1, he has to go on to the 53, and he has to take a slot. If he were suspended for game 1, he can move immediately from training camp roster to suspension and not take up a slot. So that's the difference. If Rashee goes to suspension, they'll just keep 6 on the 53. If he does not, and he's there for week 1, or there hasn't been a decision at all, then they're probably going to have to keep 7. I don't honestly see a way where they wouldn't. Can you?
Yeah. No, not really. This is, I think Tyquan Thornton is kind of forcing their hand as well in this situation.
Agreed. Crimson Chief, why are we even discussing pass rush until Spags quits being stubborn and uses some speed rushers, or pass rush will be purely effort based? I mean, Spags is Spags, right?
With Spags comes the good and the bad. Again, my opinion is that the way that they go about defensive end pass rush, it doesn't get you a lot of quick pressures. But how does Spags alleviate that? He moves guys around, he blitzes the hell out of the nickel, and he throws different safety blitzes at you. So while, again, through one ear, if it's just a pure 4-man rush, it's not going to be very good. It's not going to look great unless Chris Jones wins immediately. Otherwise, I think that's the big disconnect here, is that I put more emphasis on being able to just man up 4 guys and rush and be able to get it after the quarterback. And Spags would much rather make that quarterback think and blitz and get to him that way, or make him make a mistake throwing the football. I'd like to be able to see him do both, but he clearly values that more.
Yeah. And that's just the way that it's going to be. It's been that way forever too. I remember in New York, he had all these long, tall, heavy defensive linemen. That's how they got it done. He was never a 3-4 guy. Now that said, if they have enough of these damn injuries, they might have to go to a 3-4 front. Joe Cullen can coach that. I think Brendan Daly can probably coach the linebacker level. And if you get to the point where you have no pass rushers, Leo Chanel can be a 3-4 outside linebacker as a pass rusher. I believe he can make that transition. We've seen enough of him to make me feel a little bit comfortable with that. Can George? No. Can Ashton? Probably. As a stand-up 3-4 OLB? Yeah. But right now, it's the bodies in the front. 5 techniques in particular that you just don't have, because this line gets pushed around.
Yeah, that's the problem. They can't really do it, and you're stuck playing one way for the most part.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little rough. Now, if they kept Marlon and if something else changes, they could possibly make that switch, but I don't think Spags is going to be willing to do that.
Yeah.
Watching the Kingdom and Kareem talking about everything made me really teary-eyed and happy he got a second chance, because you rarely get second chances. And that's very true. I haven't seen it yet. Have you seen that part?
I only watched the first episode. I have not watched the second or the third one that was released today. So I'll eventually catch up. But again, that doesn't surprise me. It was always all you had to do was tell the truth, guy. All you had to do was tell the truth, and they would have made it work. So I felt bad for him, obviously, and getting to see the little bit of that redemption arc for him in his career, as well as being with the Chiefs. It's been nice to see. So I'm looking forward to watching that.
Yeah, I am too. And I didn't realize they were releasing it in chunks. I thought it was all out.
I wish they would, but
that's what I get for not paying attention. Mike, excuse me, bud. So they're saying Brian Robinson could now potentially be released if no trade partner is found. Could the Chiefs pull the trigger? Absolutely. He gets released, go sign him tomorrow. Like, there's absolutely no reason not to. For me, it was always the draft compensation that I didn't want to give up. So
Yeah, if they're asking for a fifth, I'm probably out. But if you're getting a sixth, I'll probably be okay with that.
yeah. Scott, CH and FAU were both drafted in the same spot, 32 in the first round. Which player was the worst pick? I mean, right now, and now knowing that fourth year, Felix is still not going to have an opportunity to contribute to this team. Felix was the less productive pick. He was also the bigger reach. We both had him quite a bit below 32. I think I had him in the 60s.
Yeah.
So that is unfair to him, even more so than it was unfair to Clyde, because I think I had Clyde in the 40s somewhere. I'd have to go back and double check, but more of a reach for Felix than it was for CH.
Yeah, CH was my RB1 in that class. He was,
Right.
and we all know how that turned out. Just it is what it is.
Yeah. David, maybe a dumb idea. There are no dumb ideas. But what about some of the linebackers playing DE? Exactly what we were just talking about in a switch to a 3-4 front. I don't think you have any linebackers other than Leo that could line up as a defensive end in a 4-man front like they play now. Do you?
No, but you got some outside linebackers. It was
Yeah.
specifically one. Jeffrey Bassa would be very interesting as an outside linebacker, stand-up rusher. That's a very intriguing thing for me to visualize.
I agree. And I am one that I like the 3-4 because I think it's a little bit harder for the offensive line to deal with the athleticism differential. So I like a multiple, but I'd like them
Yeah,
to run a little bit more 3-4 so you can get some of that speed on slow.
yeah. They'd have to draft
Brett,
a two gapping defensive tackle though, so not really up their alley, and they don't have anyone on the roster either.
no, kind of need one. If we go back to the 23 draft, who would you redraft over FAU? Joey Porter, Sam Laporta, or someone else? I mean, in hindsight, sure, but I had Laporta as a 40s grade above him, so that probably would have been normal for me.
I'm gonna go
You
pull it up because I don't have it all in my head at the
sure.
moment. So let me see here. I would have. There's quite a few guys I probably would have drafted. I think I would have drafted Derek Hall over him. I think I had him up there as well. But he's again more of a Spags type guy, power player off the edge. I also had Jonathan Mingo higher, but we see how that has worked out. Um, Matthew Bergeron has turned out fine at the interior. Steve Avila has been fantastic for the Rams on the interior of that offensive line. So again, the Chiefs at the time had Joe Tooney, was still doing a great job, and they had Trey Smith already. So they wouldn't have drafted Steve Avila, which is exactly why you see a Felix going where he did. I just wish that Nolan Smith would have fallen further because I would have loved to see that in Kansas City, but unfortunately, it's the Eagles. So it's hard to do that because again, I wouldn't have drafted FAU at 31 anyway. But again, I would have probably drafted Michael Mayer. I had him as my tight end one.
Right.
He goes a few picks after. Sam Laporta was just before that too. Joey Porter Jr. would make sense in the defense. So probably, if I'm being honest with myself, in a little bit of hindsight as well, I think Joey Porter Jr. would have made some sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. I had BJ Ojolari. I'm just looking back at it as well. I had BJ
Yeah.
Ojolari as a 40s pick as well. The really interesting one, especially given our conversation right now, Keon White. Keon White in a Spags defense.
He's a Spags guy, and he plays a lot of interior pass rush for them too. Like he's an interior kind of guy, but he's that tweener, that 280 pounds that you can play at the edge and kind of set the edge as a run defender, and he kicks inside to rush next to Chris Jones. Yeah, would have been a lot of fun.
Yeah, could have been really interesting. And I think we both mentioned it at the time, to tell you the truth. Cam, what are your biggest concerns going into the season? How would you rate them 1 to 10, Dan?
So I'm only going to give you like one or two real concerns because we could sit here for a long time talking about concerns that I have that aren't, what we've seen in the preseason. Because at the end of the day, I don't care what I see at the preseason. My biggest concern, I think, right now is allowing this offensive line to gel. I'm concerned after what they did last year. And again, maybe they decided that Kingsley just was not going to be a tackle. Maybe that was the thing. But again, we've seen that you have to develop guys. So letting this left side gel and learn together, I think is very important. So that's one of my concerns. I think I would rate it closer to like a 5 or a 6 in terms of what we've seen. I want them to get that. That's something I really prioritize. And then back end, chief on defense, safety, cornerback, I'm very worried right now. I'm very worried about what we're seeing at safety and corner with the injuries. I don't care necessarily about the play. The injuries are making this worse, and we don't know what we're going to see from our guy that was just brought in the offseason, who's had nothing but injury issues, starting it on the pup list, and Christian Fulton. It's hard to see what that's going to be. And we know Josh Williams can't play. Nazi Johnson has been up and down. Seen some flashes, but I don't know, man. Back end looks tough.
I agree, and it's all. I mean, anything that says protocol makes me nervous. So, like, these injuries are going to be tough, and we don't know what's going to happen. William, thank you. Real quick, mock draft 2026. Which three position groups should we target the first three picks? In my opinion, it's going to go O-line, CB, and RB. Got to have edge in there, too. You might have to have safety.
Defensive end in the first round is like with a bullet. It is a big thing for the Chiefs because, again, there's a very good chance they just cut Felix out right after this year. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, he's under contract again. Don't get me wrong, but they clearly prioritized Ashton Gillotte over him. He was playing before him. It's very clear that there is an order, a pecking order there. You might not have Mike Dana. You might not have Charles Omenihu. We're looking at Ashton Gillotte, possibly FAU, and George Karlaftis as your defensive ends next year. That's not a situation you want to go into unless Ashton Gillotte puts up 10 sacks for you this year and you feel really good about what he's turning into. I don't see it happening. I think that's the slimmest possibility at all. But if it does happen, you feel better. But defensive end has to be there. Safety,
I don't even see it happening.
Yeah, safety for sure is up there, almost a guarantee. I'm going to say it. Running back. You got Brashard Smith, guys. Brashard Smith is your only, and Carson Steele your running backs next year. Running back has got to be in the top 4 rounds next year. It has to be.
Yeah, it might be worth a top 100 pick in this situation. I can't really argue. And sorry, I ate something before we came on and it's starting to catch up with me. So apologies, folks. I got a pretty good heartburn going on right about here. I will also say this. William, thank you for the super chat. I have no concept of what CHF is. So you're going to have to tell me if you're still in the chat where you're at, because I don't recognize that one. And I'm very, very intrigued. So thank you, pal. Appreciate it. Tempted to move Chanel to the edge at this point. Yep. Sam Joe, I am with you. If you were going to go and try to run some 3-4 reps, I would do that. Now, just do them as an overhang like they used to with Willie. I don't know that that's really getting you anything, because while Leo's good, he's still a power-based pass rusher. Yeah. You know, putting out wider is not really going to help him, I don't think. But Christopher, do you feel do we have the ability to move McDuffie back to the slot? And in three-man sets, I believe he will be in the slot for the most part, unless he's. I hope that they match him up with the number 1 to take him away. But I think mostly with this concern, he's going to be in the slot because you don't got anybody else.
I'm concerned that the Chiefs feel that Jamar Connor is that, and that's just again. I still want Trent McDuffie on the outside, guys. I have been very adamant. I want him to play on the outside all the time, and like Ryan says, follow the one wherever he is. If he's in the slot, fine. Let's see what he does there. But overall, I think he needs to play in the outside. But I'm also concerned that the Chiefs are just like, hey, Chamari, go ahead. Okay, let's go do it.
Oof, that's all I'm going to say. Is the Chiefs running back room hurting the passing game? To some extent. I don't think it's a coincidence that it was the shortest yards per attempt in Mahomes' career without Jet McKinnon as an outlet. Because the whole thing is, if they're going to take away deep, you got to be able to hurt them underneath. And with Trav being what Trav was last year and not having Jet McKinnon, I think that made a difference. And it's nothing against Samaje Perine. But by the way, with Trav talking about the whole, I was with Taylor all summer and we were in love and we got to do all these excursions and take all these little vacations. Like, now you know how little training he was doing. That was the giveaway that he didn't want to give away.
Yeah, it is what it is, guys. I'm over that. But at the end of the day, running back room is what it is. And I'm just going to be upset about it.
How much run do you expect the offense will do? They have to. Because they have to sell the play action pass. And the analysts, especially the deep analysts, will tell you that it doesn't matter whether you can actually run the ball effectively, as long as you attempt to, that it will help the play action. And in theory, I can understand that. But when you have a history like Andy Reid does, and you know how ineffectual the run has been for this team the last 3 seasons, I cannot but think that they need a little more play action to get some of the guys loose, to get those deeper routes going. And I don't think pure play action without the actual effective run is going to work as well.
You guys know how we've talked about this for a long time. And again, I still think that the strength of this offensive line right now, and to help them get more comfortable, is to run the football and to just access what they can do. You guys might see both Kingsley and Josh Simmons pull this year. I think that's very much on the table, and that makes me very excited.
Perry, I hope you're having a good time. Use the visual from that game and enjoy them being bad, and we'll just keep pounding away. So I've been very adamant about the Bengals lately on the Locked On show. So I'm sorry again for the cross timing thing tonight, but I understand how you feel. What do you think of the QB backups? I try not to.
I like Gardner for this system. I think Gardner is perfect for what they want to do when Patrick Mahomes is not there, which is throw the football quickly or hand it off. And I think Gardner's perfect for that.
Yeah, I agree with you. I am happy he's here, and honestly, his arm looks more live than the last 2 backups they've had.
I would agree with that. I mean, he doesn't have the arm talent that Carson Wentz has, but Carson Wentz doesn't know what he's doing. So it doesn't really matter.
He's more decisive, and he gets the ball out quicker, in my mind. I think his delivery's quicker than Carson's. So it looks good to me. Info just joined, so ignore if you already answered this. How did Issa Pole do, in your opinion? And unfortunately, I would say he did exactly what he did in the first game, because they didn't give him any better competition. Did you see anything I missed?
No, he was good, but again, he didn't get the bump in what he should have been playing.
He was fine. He wasn't challenged, let me put it that way. They didn't do anything else. That's my issue with Pat, that he's got to speak up for this team to be his team. If Brady saw a game plan issue, he would be letting everyone know that he had a problem with it. And FLDB, you are absolutely correct.
No, this was from Brent. After I actually, this is the message that I accidentally banned. My bad.
Okay. Well, thank you for putting it in there. And Brent, good point. I think that speaks to the nature of the relationship the quarterbacks had with their coaches. Do you see something different?
Yeah, not necessarily different. I mean, Tom Brady was the matriarch essentially of the football team. Bill was the organizer of the defense. I have a lot of questions about what he did in terms of getting the team fired up, because I don't think he did any of that. I think Andy Reid is still the backbone of that, and they have conversations about how to handle things together. They have more conversations of the offensive side. So I understand where you're coming from with Tom Brady, Brent. I think that Patrick is one, he's got so much respect for Andy Reid, which I think everybody should and does, that it's not necessarily like inhibiting him from speaking out. I guarantee you that they do speak out. But Pat, I probably also thought it was a good idea at the time too.
Sometimes simple is better. I'm sorry. It's like cooking.
I agree. You and I agree.
Thank you, Frankie. Appreciate you. Are you guys worried about the defense after what happened against Seahawks? I know it was 2s and 3s, but Philip, yeah. I mean, what it tells you is that you're just thin. Like Chris, Bolton, Tranquil, like having them back along with McDuffie certainly makes the defense better, but just shows you any one injury is going to have more significant impact than it did, say, last year. Or
specifically at the linebacker position. But yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Philip. And here's Brenton, and he's back. Kevin Banks looked great playing 23 snaps. No reason Kingsley should only play 10 or 11. Hey, you're preaching to the choir. I had Banks a lot higher than most, and I think you did too, right? Was he?
I had him as like my tackle too. Yeah,
mine too.
I was very high on Banks.
I don't understand the league, but clearly they was wrong, at least so far. Yeah. Great question, Hanman. And thank you for the support. Scarier, Genty or Hampton, and how do we stop him?
I'll be honest. I think Hampton's scarier because I think he's more explosive of a runner, and he still has the contact balance to make guys fall and then get going. So how do we stop him? Well, Spags isn't going to care very much. He's going to look for one negative play, guys. He's going to look for one negative play, which I've said this for years. And this is what Spags does. I don't care how many times you run the ball. I'm looking for one negative on first down. I'm looking for one, and then I'm coming after your ass. That is Steve Spagnuolo, guys.
That sets up everything that I want to do. I am all good at that point. Oh, William, thank you for informing me. I appreciate you. And it's nice to see you. It's got to be late there, so cheers, and have a beer for me. And maybe chocolate. It's Swiss, right? So, hey. Alex, thank you for putting this in here. 3 years in the memberships. We appreciate you, pal. Nick Wright is convinced Tyreek Hill will be back. I just drafted Tyreek Hill this weekend in my 23-year running fantasy draft because I'm hopeful that somebody will use him to his extent, whether it's Tua or he gets traded. I just don't know if the Chiefs are going to give anything up for him. He's going to have to run his mouth enough to get cut, and then the Chiefs might bring him back, and I just can't see that happening.
Yeah, they won't trade for him, but once he becomes a free agent, maybe. I've been pretty adamant that when he's no longer a member of the Dolphins and he's free to sign somewhere, that I think he comes back. I really do believe it.
Yeah, I do as well. I just don't know how long that's going to be. How much longer is he under contract? I'll look that up while you answer.
I think this is his last year.
Is it? I will check.
Philip, how good do you think the defense can be this year, fellas? So I still think that the Chiefs defense can be a top 10 unit, and I have no qualms about that, specifically because the starters are good. They know how to execute defense. I still think with the turnover at safety and some of the injuries at quarterback that they can get there. It's going to have to be a little bit different than we've seen it in past, where the pass rush is going to have to be a little bit better. It's just going to have to be better than it was last year. It's just a modicum better so that everything else works out. And so the corners don't have to handle so much. But if Fulton comes back and he's able to play and you hit in No Williams, which I think they have, you can get by. You can get by right now in order to develop that. So I still think that they can be a top 10 defense this year.
I certainly hope so. I think that's on the fringe, but I think it is possible. So let's keep our fingers crossed. Small aside on Tyreek Hill. He is 31 years old now.
Yeah.
Today, as we speak. This is part of the problem. He is 27 mil against the cap this year. Someone trading for him would have to eat some of that money. I'm absolutely guaranteed. But here's the rub. He can bitch and moan all through this season. And he is 51 million against their cap next year, but he is under contract for 26. His void years in 27, 28, 29.
Got it.
They paying him $51 million. I'm sorry, 51.9. They ain't paying him now. So he will be released in the offseason if they cannot trade him this season.
So I was technically right.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So it may not happen this season is my point. But a year from now, we might be talking about the reunion. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
Part deux is what we'll call that. Damn it. Would you keep Robert Tonyan on the 53-man roster? I think he's played his way onto it. Daniel?
Absolutely. He's your tight end 3, guys. Once Jake Brenningstool went down with the injury, he was at practice today, by the way, which is great to see. Yes. He was at practice today. And and Jared Wiley still has done nothing. He's still done nothing. It was very obvious that Robert Tonyan was your tight end 3. So yes, he's not only played his way onto the roster, I think he can have a kind of productive year as the tight end 3.
I'm starting. If I am representing Noah Gray, I'm starting to get nervous.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yeah, I was wrong. His age is not a factor. All 47 years of Robert Tonyan is just fine at this point. I don't know how much volume he's going to give you, but he's smart enough and he's moving better than I expected to be. So
yeah,
more power to him. But yes, we both have him on the 53 at this point. Dylan Thineman. I haven't even looked yet. So Sammy, you're way ahead of me, buddy. Have you looked at this kid?
Dylan is my safety 2 in this class, guys. And we actually had him going to the Patriots at 13 in our first mock for Bleacher Report. You guys can go and check that out over on Bleacher Report right now. But yes, I would love for the Chiefs to be able to draft him. I think they'd have to draft him in the first round, specifically for where they're at, because I do think he is a very good player. And he can play single high. He can do it
Yeah.
all. He can do everything.
Okay. All right. I love it. I'm loving it. Thank you, Dylan. I mean, Sammy, about Dylan. I appreciate that because I don't even know the guys' names yet. This is my normal preseason thing. I learn the college guys once they start playing. I'll get there. And we'll wrap up tonight. We just want to say thank you to everybody who contributed and supported us tonight. I hope that we gave you the answers you were maybe not looking for, but appreciate. So cheers to you. Like, sub, hit the bell. Will Smith become the new Jet McKinnon replacement? Rashard Smith. And I have to think that is the goal, plus a little bit, because he's like Tyreek was as a rookie. Tyreek didn't really know what he was doing. And so I still feel that he's moldable. Even as a running back, he may prove himself to be an elite third down back, somebody like Andy's had in the past. Like, I can't say that he'll be Sproles, but I think they know the mold they want him to get to.
I think that's the idea, right? There's still some contact balance there for him, and the pass protection stuff might come with time. Okay. Yeah. I'm not saying it's going to. Okay. Even Jerick McKinnon had to learn how to be a better pass protector. I mean, he always I think understood the leverage stuff. Rashard Smith's going to have to learn that. But he's a valuable commodity to this offense right now. And again, he's being more productive than Elijah Mitchell has, and he's being asked to do more than Elijah Mitchell is, which tells you, I think, how the Chiefs view him, at least how they want to use him this year. Next year is going to be a very interesting dynamic with the development aspect as well as what they're going to ask him to do.
I absolutely agree with you. So that's it for us tonight. We thank you for being here. Thank you, Dan, for putting up with us and letting the dog nap on the bed. Hopefully the ladies are good with it as well. So cheers, and moving day is coming, pal.
It's coming, and she's always on the bed. She's getting old now, so she's not up on the bed as much. But thank you guys for being here. We'll continue to do this while we can, and I'm hoping to get you guys real film stuff when the season hits. Otherwise, I might lose my own mind.
There'll be no going crazy. That's my job. Folks, have a great night. We'll be back with you tomorrow. I'll have my walk. Don't miss it. I'll tell you the truth. You might not dig it, but you'll like it. We'll talk to you soon. Have a great night. Have a good one. And I missed something, but I'm supposed to tell you that I have completely forgotten now. So enjoy your Tuesday. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks for watching this video from the team at RGR Football. Click these videos to see more and subscribe to RGR Football.